Okay, good morning, everyone. My clock shows 10:30.
Good morning.
So yeah, thank you. So I guess Kay, you're going to be driving here this morning. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll drive.
All right.
And I also want to let everybody know that this meeting is going to be recorded and transcribed.
Okay. All right, we appreciate that. Okay, let's go over the agenda items for today. All right, so I've done the welcome, and so we will now at 10:31 call this meeting to order. The next item will be the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the minutes from the last meeting? Okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Have a second?
May I ask who that was that made the motion?
Yeah, it's Eileen Ward with the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Reynolds with a second from Habitat for Humanity of Henderson, Kentucky.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Travis Yates.
Any opposed? All right, so the minutes from the last meeting have been reviewed and approved. Moving on to introductions. Kay, help me out here. Are we looking to just introduce everybody that's on the call? Is that what we're looking for here?
Yeah, typically in what organization they're with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, so I've got my list here. Looks like we got 15 people out there. So let's go with Anthony Wright.
Hello, good morning. This is Anthony Wright. I'm the Assistant Director of Multifamily Programs at Kentucky Housing.
Excellent. Okay. Bridget Walsh-Quarles.
Hello, good morning. My name is Bridget Quarles. I am a project administrator with the Multifamily Development at Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Excellent, excellent. All right, next up we have the director, Henderson Habitat.org.
Yeah, my name is Matt Reynolds. I'm the COO from Habitat for Humanity of Henderson, Kentucky.
Perfect, thank you. All right. Okay, we have Kathy.
Yes, good morning, Kathy Figel-Stoller, Department for Local Government, representing Commissioner Dennis Keene.
Excellent, thank you, welcome. Jessica?
Yes, good morning, Jessica Shelton with Kentucky Housing Corporation, Supervisor of Single Family Production.
Excellent. Okay. Let's see, next up is Carla.
Carla Hale, Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Okay. Next up is Kay McAfee.
Hey, McAfee, Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Okay.
Good morning. Y'all need to smile, move a little bit. Everybody's so stiff. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Kelly Reynolds.
Kelly Reynolds, Assistant Director of Housing Contract Administration at Kentucky Housing Corporation over Single Family Production.
Okay. All right, Kendrick.
Good morning. My name is Kendrick Vonderschmidt, the Managing Director of Corporate Planning and Accountability, and we generate some of the financial reports that Kay will share with you.
Okay. All right. Molly. All right, appreciate you. Eileen Ward.
Hello, I am Eileen Ward. I'm with the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm the Homeless Veteran Program Coordinator.
All right, Wendy.
Good morning, everybody. Wendy Smith. I'm Deputy Executive Director over Housing Programs here at KHC.
And then Winston.
Good morning. Winston Miller, Executive Director of Kentucky Housing Corporation. Hope everybody's having a good day.
Thank you. All right. We've got somebody, looks like they're on their telephone that ends in 59.
It's Travis Yates with Beacon SoCar out of Louisville, Kentucky.
There you go. Okay. And then Abdul.
This is Abdul Muhammad, Market President, West Banco Bank out of Central Kentucky.
Okay. And then Adrian.
Hi, this is Adrian Bush with the Homeless and Housing Coalition of Kentucky.
And anyone else before I go last? Did I catch everybody else? Okay. And I'm Steve Coleman, chairperson for this this meeting and this group. I also work at Republic Bank in Louisville, Kentucky as a mortgage loan supervisor. All right. Moving on to our next item, we have the financial report and program allocations. Okay, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all for doing those introductions. I think that helps a lot with our quorum and Carla that's taking minutes on the meeting. So thank you all for sharing your names and the organizations you represent. I will just go over a couple slides, which are the financials for this quarter. Looks like I went back. This first worksheet here, what you're seeing is just kind of the trends of our AHTF receipts. You will notice that we have not received the payment for Q2 yet. We do expect that later in the month. But what's most important here is we're seeing the trend that in the last 3 quarters that this resource is diminishing. That's what's most important, and that's what stands out here. We've talked a lot about AHTF dollars and the need and how this supports many of our programs for home repairs, single family, multifamily projects. But again, we receive a set amount of dollars from reporting fees each quarter. And on average, we're just seeing a slow trickle and diminishing in these trends and receipts. So that is what's most important on this slide. Were there any questions before I move on to the next? And here again, you see kind of a summary overview of each quarter. Again, second quarter has not come in yet. We'll expect that payment later this month. But again, healthy cash balance at $14 million. We have $12 million in outstanding commitments and SPL projects to date. And then again, $1.2 million in funds available and committed. We do project a disbursement in Q3 and Q4 for a lot of AHTF activities. Our allocation plan shows around $7.5 million that'll be dispersed and go out in Q3 and Q4. So that's a summary of our trends and our financials. Are there any questions? I'll pause for any questions about this information. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, Bridget.
Thank you. Good morning. Multifamily has presented 2 what we call highlighted projects that have used Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Okay, great. Thank you. The first one is Marion Manor. It is a new construction project by co-developers Parkland Manor and Walbuck Development Company. It is located in Smiths Grove, Kentucky, which is Edmonson County. It consists of 20 one-bedroom and 24 two-bedroom units designated for elderly households. This project was awarded from our innovation pool for its installation of 100,000 kW solar-powered electric generators that provides part of the power needed for the project. All utilities are included in the tenant's rent, and the power generated allow the project owner to reduce the individual rents by $15 a month. This green energy source replaces the equivalent of 52 tons of coal annually. KHC invested $440,000 in Affordable Housing Trust Fund and just over $919,000 in low-income housing tax credits. This investment leveraged over $8 million in private equity from Ohio Capital Corporation. And this project also received a $440,000 grant from Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati. And this looks like this is a picture of the project on the outside. And this is a picture of the project kitchen. Thanks. There's a next. Okay. The next one is Independence Home. It is also a new construction supportive housing project by the Lexington Housing for Handicapped. It represents an additional 24 single room occupancy units to the existing Bob Brown house. All the units are set aside for adults with physical, mental, and/or developmental disabilities. As a part of the service plan, residents receive all of their meals provided by the property. KHC invested $200,000 in Affordable Housing Trust Fund and just over $290,000 or almost $300,000 in low-income housing tax credit. That investment leveraged over $2.5 million in private equity from Central Bank. This project also received an award of $600,000 from Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati. And this is a picture of the resident common area and then the commercial food prep kitchen where all the meals are provided for the residents. I think I want to live there. Thank you, Kay.
Were there any questions about the projects before we move on to single family?
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, next up we have Jessica.
All right, this is Kelly. I'm going to introduce this project before Jessica starts with the presentation on it. So we have a single family developer who is also a solar panel installer. And he is really trying to do more solar energy in the eastern part of the state and working with other nonprofit developers to do that. So he approached us and asked if we would ever consider using HTF to help with some of the solar panel install or solar panels on new construction. So I, being an advocate for solar in energy efficiency and climate resiliency, was on board. He knew exactly who to approach. So we did our first house, and that's what Jessica's going to present. I suspect that we will see more and more of these. We are loosening up our policies a little bit on development gap in order to allow some more solar install to happen. But Jessica's going to present our very first house that we did this on.
Can I interrupt real quick? This is Travis Yates. You know, I would love to get that name because I'm really working on the multifamily side, because the president put in his Inflation Reduction Act incredible incentives for solar panels, and we're having a difficult time finding someone that does it around here, or does it in Kentucky. So I would love to get that name because we've been on the phone with a couple different ones, and we're trying to, with our most recent projects and applications, include solar, because I mean there is a real incentive with the Inflation Reduction Act to do that. So I'm looking for any name I can get that can do that around here.
Sure. So I am going to drop my email address in the chat where you can get it and email me. I do have some leads on solar because we are looking to do this with a new Department of Energy grant that we're applying for. And we're also going to be working with the Energy Cabinet on a Solar for All grant as well. So the Energy Cabinet also has some potential installers. So I'm going to send you I'll put my email address in the chat, and that way you can email me and we'll get together and try to get you some leads.
Thank you so much. I apologize for the interruption, but that's just great stuff. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, it's in the chat.
Knowledge is power. All right.
All right, so let's talk about the Collins family. So Kim and her family, they were flooded in the Eastern Kentucky floods, and their house was actually in danger of sliding off of the mountain. So they came to Holmes, and Holmes was able to get their family, who had been split in between two Kentucky Emergency Management trailers, into a brand new construction home. So Holmes was able to braid both Team Kentucky money and Affordable Housing Trust funds to provide Kim with this new solar panel construction build. So here's a little overview of how AHTF funded this unit. So our construction costs were $233,772. The appraised value of that house was $185,000. So as you can see, we had some development gap. We were able to fill a portion of that gap with Affordable Housing Trust funds. So $44,000 of Affordable Housing Trust funds helped with that. We funded $70,000 of construction costs. Out of that construction costs, $40,000 of that transferred to buyer assistance. So our total HTF in this unit was $114,000. So here we have some pictures of Kim, her sweet family, the cute little house, and then in the right-hand corner, you can see there's kind of 4 properties in development. So Kim's house is going to be that first completed one, and then the other house also has solar panels, and I think Holmes is going to continue to do solar panels on those remaining 2 units. So quite a neat little area to be in for sure. Okay, next slide is fine. Okay, so a HERS rating system is just a rating of energy efficiency of a home, and that's done by kind of an independent third-party inspection. So a house that is built according to National Building Code that you would get off the market, they normally score around about 100 on the scale. So the more energy efficient a home is, the lower that rating will be. So for the Collins, their house scored a -3. Any rating that is at 0 or below is considered a net zero house. And so the extra measures that Holmes applied to making this house energy efficient, as well as that rooftop solar, will really help this house generate the amount of energy that it will use. And then I linked there a quick link to a article that Holmes was highlighted in. So ResNet is the creator of this energy of that HERS index rating, and they highlighted 2 of Holmes' builds because they both received those negative index ratings. So the Collins family was -3, and then the other completed house that we saw in that previous slide received a -5. So Holmes is doing great work.
Travis,
and we were exiting.
And we were very excited to see those low numbers. Normally in our single family development world, we see around about a 45 in a HERS index. That's pretty good. So seeing those negative numbers is just a really exciting development for us. And that's all I have.
Okay, if there's no other questions, we're going to take a look at a few more projects. I'm going to talk a little bit about, if you all recall, the last meeting we touched on the Rural Housing Trust Fund. This fund was established in March of 2023 by House Bill 360. As we talked about, these were one-time dollars, $20 million from the state aid funding or SAFE funds. 10 million that would be allocated for Western and 10 million for Eastern Kentucky. The funds, the priority is to invest in rural housing solutions for disaster areas. Again, this breaks down that $10 million allocation. Again, these were one-time funds that came into KHC. Eastern Kentucky, 10 million for single family. Western Kentucky was broken out into single family, and then also a portion of that going to multifamily, just because, of course, there was more of the multifamily units lost in Western Kentucky, and so really wanting to stand that up for those areas and that community. Another caveat of this funding, it is designated to USDA designated rural areas. And so this just kind of shows a map of the USDA designated areas. You'll see highlighted Eastern and Western Kentucky counties here. And you all will receive this information in the packet if you want to look closer. But looking at RHTF progress to date, again, the legislation came out in March of 2023. KHC ramped up and began to draft new program guidelines for the funds by April, engaging with many of our partners, some of those that were mentioned today. As we featured the projects, they gave a lot of feedback into, looking at that draft policy and how these funds would roll out. The RHTF Advisory Committee met for their first meeting in June. And the NOFA rolled out in July. So a very quick turnaround from legislation just being introduced in March, funds already being released in the first single family NOFA by July. And then in October, we've shared some information with you all via email about some of those project starts. 13.5 million was awarded across 9 organizations that would ultimately receive that funding. In some of that communication that you received, see here, we also shared some of the outcomes for those projects and the expected unit count. So, see, 13.5 million awarded to 9 nonprofits, expected to build 115 new homes in disaster impacted counties and to repair 45 homes for disaster survivors in Eastern and Western Kentucky. So this slide shows a little bit about those single family eligible activities for home ownership. Again, the funds are designated again for housing solutions for disaster survivors, single family home development, again, not exclusive to survivors, but to have a preference and prioritize survivors. Here is a list of those 9 organizations that were awarded and those award amounts, estimating a whopping 116 new construction homes and estimating 45 existing home repairs for disaster survivors. I'm gonna let that sink in, that 13.5 million and 116 new construction homes and 45 repairs for disaster survivors. We're gonna take a look at a couple of comments from some of those recipients, just thanking us again for the Rural Housing Trust Fund dollars, again, just being established in legislation in March and a NOFA already rolling out in October. We were able to get funds to projects that were just ready to go. Community Ventures, for example, working across Western Kentucky, and then Homes Inc., which I think we saw a featured project today, working again with our families on the ground in Eastern Kentucky, Letcher County. I wanted to show an image here of a family. This is Regina. Her home was filled with water during the July 2022 floods. And again, with support from Rural Housing Trust Fund dollars, she is receiving a new home built on her property. So this will be the first home in Letcher County. And this news release came out. You all likely received it from me. So wanted to again show you this family, Regina, again, getting a new construction home. This is an organization, HDA. They are working on the ground in Perry County on a new home. And so again, this was one of the first homes that would be created in this area with Rural Housing Trust Fund dollars. They were working with Frontier Housing and Fahey to establish this home for Eastern Kentucky. And before we leave this subject, I also wanted to mention, so we talked a little bit about the 13.5 million in awards. But for Western Kentucky, again, remember there was the $5 million remaining for multifamily specifically. So that NOFA is actually out now. Again, this is $5 million in funding to rebuild apartments in Western Kentucky. That NOFA is out now, includes $16 million in other KHC funds. It can also be paired with DLG funding, with the CDBG-DR funds with DLG. So again, that NOFA is out now. I believe that NOFA will close in February. It's paired again with other dollars. I believe our tax-exempt bond NOFA and DLG CDBG-R application closes in March of this year. So again, that NOFA is out now, and that is specifically for the $5 million remaining for Western Kentucky multifamily. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Kay. Let's see here. Other business and announcements? No one? Bueller? Anyone? All right. Okay. And then, so with no other business or announcements, our next meeting is scheduled for July 23rd. I think we, as Americans, have fallen in love with the video version of meetings, so I'm going to assume we're going to continue with this going forward. So, and I'm sure you guys will send out a calendar invite to let us know and put that on our calendar. We really appreciate that. So, if no other business, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Eileen Ward will motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Abdul Muhammad second.
All right. 200 seconds. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? No opposition? All right. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your time, folks. And
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Got 3 minutes to spare, so we're good.